don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Holy crap. Nobody knows what's going on. Am I under the wrong thing? I'm under the wrong thing, aren't I? When you came in the duck, you came in live on location. I just want to quit. I just want to quit and go home. What's happening right now? What is going on? Hold on. Let me look at what's happening here. Sorry about this, folks. Apparently, the city of Muncie is not the only people that can't figure out what the hell's going on. I also have the problem. Oh, I can't believe I did it. That makes me so mad. That is a Josh Kimbrell thing. I cannot believe I did that. Josh did it like every other day. Kate did it to me once. I don't even know how to fix this. All right, we'll just keep it. I'll fix it in the after. I'll fix it afterwards. So I'm surprised anybody's here at all, because the thing that you're coming into, oh no, nobody knows what's going on. Hold on, this is such a disaster, because I just shared this everywhere. Ugh. Let me breathe. Let me breathe for a. Let me do something here. Sorry, I got to fix this, or no one on YouTube will be able to find. No one on Facebook will be able to find us. So this is what I'll do. Okay. All right. I fixed it. Well, it's not fixed. I've got a quick temporary fix that I can do. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, folks. We'll get right with it. I apologize. I have to fix this. I can't let this go. So what I did this today, just everything worked backwards. So I had 2 studios built. I had the studio built for the live on location thing. And instead of going live on location in the live on location studio, I went live on location in the studio that I had built for episode 544. So that's why I didn't understand. People were telling me they couldn't find the meeting. I was like, that's not the problem. The meeting is up. There's just no sound. So I went live in the wrong studio. That's my fault. and played the city screw up with no sound. So then tonight, not knowing that, I came home and I immediately got in the studio and I can't find it anywhere. And I'm like, why is this not up on Rumble? What is going on? Why is Rumble not going? Why can't I find this? Why am I not sharing this anywhere? And that's because I'm sharing episode 544, which isn't episode 544. It's actually what happened at the council meeting tonight, which was a shit show. So let me fix this really quickly and we will get down to business. And I'm actually going to have to really kind of go over tonight and think about what happened before we really get into it. And so we might have to talk about this more tomorrow.
The viewers are great. We've got Alva here saying, you're here, fuck it. And Admiral Eric's like, yep. And Tim Dalton, well, at least you think it is a problem.
Yeah, right. Yeah, now that's, yeah.
Because it sounds like the city of Muncie doesn't seem to think it's a problem.
Yeah, that was
and technically you are live on location.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. I am live. We are here. You're all here.
Yeah, we're here. It's good.
You see how people should deal with problems. And now everybody is. I can think of a million reasons to beat up on Amber Green. And I think that it is Amber Green's responsibility to get sorted. But Amber did not go to school to run the machines. She knows nothing about that. The city needs to get somebody that knows what they're doing in that position. And apparently they've got that rolling for the first of the year. But we've got to get to the end of the year and shit needs to go right. And Amber can take a lot of heat for why things aren't going the right way, but you got to remember, she wasn't shown. All of a sudden, the guy, Slusher, was gone.
Work and talk, dude.
And yeah. We're there. We're done.
Okay, you're good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
I was trying to help kill time while you were doing what you needed to.
No. Yeah, we're good. We're good to go. I fixed it. So
okay.
No, but the thing is, Amber, she doesn't know what she's doing, and I'm not saying that being mean to her. It's not her. She needs to figure it out, and she needs to get the person in there, and Dan and others need to give her that help. So I don't blame tonight on Amber, and she's going to get a lot of shit for it, and the city should get the shit. Amber should have to fix it and figure out a way to fix it, but she shouldn't get the shit. There's a lot of other things that you can throw shit at her for if you want to. But this, I don't blame her for this issue. And matter of fact, while she was in there, she texted me and said, have you ever had, how do you fix this issue? And the issue that she was asking me, I've never had it happen on YouTube. So what we do is not that hard getting to YouTube, but they also are using a lot of crazy software that we don't use. They've got like a $25,000 machine, and yeah, that's right, Amber. Alva, that's exactly right, Alva. It's not her fault, but they shouldn't be giving excuses. They need to fix it and get done with it. So that's that. So if you tuned in to watch the council meeting tonight, you were not able to watch the council meeting tonight because you could see it, but you could not hear it. And that's because for whatever reason, the audio did not work, and it was what it was. So there's nothing that could happen with that. It was what it was. And that happened. Now, instantly, I realized there was a problem. So I pulled out my phone and I started I started audio recording. So we have the audio recording of the meeting. Look here. I'm going to try to hear the sound, hear how good it is. Give me 1 second. I haven't listened to it yet. So let's see. There is an hour and 25 minutes. Stand by. I'm going to listen to this. Okay. So there, Stumblefoot. So yeah, it's definitely listenable if you can get through my typing and my breathing. Yeah. You can definitely hear it. So I will hook this up and let you guys hear some of this here in a moment. The best way to describe tonight's meeting would be a shit show. It would be absolutely a shit show. So the meeting got started, and they didn't take public comment at the end. So everything about Resolution 1725 and everything else, that will have to wait for 2.5 weeks until the November 3rd meeting. No big deal. This meeting was solely set for the budgets. There were 3 ordinances. Ordinance number 30-25, which was the city's civil Muncie civil budget for the city of Muncie. That's the budget. Ordinance 3125 was for MITS, the bus system budget, and 32-25 was for the sanitary district. And they voted on 30. They took it out of order. They all 9 council members were there, and they voted on 3125 and 3225. They voted on that first. Oh yeah, they took a lot of public comment. There was a lot of public comment. But it was on the individual ordinances, the 3 ordinances. So they didn't open it up for public concerns at the end like they normally do, which I was fine with. I had no issue with that. Yeah. Brandon was there. He did not have a sombrero with him. He was there in his, normal little getup. And so pretty quick order they made of ordinance 3125, voted on, get it out of the way. 3225, vote on, get it out of the way. And then we go into the budget, the city budget. And they brought up, that's the to-do list. Here's my, they brought up, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 amendments. And one of the amendments was to defund Amber and Matt Wegley again. Okay. I disagree. So you guys could hear that? No, it wasn't public comment at the end. He was still talking on the thing. I don't think it was public comment. I think it was still the thing. It wasn't public comment. He was up there on the ordinance, and then they voted, because right after they voted, they adjourned the meeting. So yeah, it would have been fine if closed. I don't even know what the deal is with closed captioning. So okay, so let's do this. So I honestly, off my mind, because there was so much chaos tonight, don't remember. For those of you that were there, do you remember what the First Amendment was? The one that passed 7-2. It actually passed 7-2. So they didn't vote in down political lines on that one, and I was kind of shocked, and I was like, "Ooh, this is a little interesting because they didn't do that." Okay, let me see where we are here. Okay, here we are. Okay. All right, give me 1 second here, and I'll tell you what that is, because this is important. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Let me see if I can do it this way. And then that way I might be able to share it, and we might be able to listen to it. You guys might be able to listen to it all. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can share it. I'll do it this way. I'm going to share it in. Okay. I know how I'll do it. I will share it under Google Docs, and then that's where we'll be able to pull it up. Okay. Drive. Okay. 10/16/25 budget. Okay, and we're going to call this new budget. Okay, 10/16/25 budget. Select and save. Okay, now I'll be able to let you guys hear this, and we'll be able to go along with it. So you guys will actually be the first people to hear what happened in this meeting, because other than the people who were there, because there were a couple of folks that were recording. Now, I didn't, and it's my fault. I did not get the ordinance 31 or 20 or 32/25. So the ordinances that the ordinance that I started on was the city ordinance, which is the main thing. Okay, that's not that big a deal. Give me a second. I got to log in here. We're doing a lot of stuff on the fly tonight, guys. I apologize because I just got home from the meeting, so it's not like I've been sitting here preparing for a show. I was at a meeting and got here, so just bear with me. We'll get this pulled up, and I want you guys to be able to hear. I want you guys to be able to hear this and be able to listen to this and all that. So give me just a second here. And as soon as this gets shared over to, it looks like it's up there now. Okay. The mayor was in rare performance tonight. He was there and he was ready to kind of give it to Nora. So we've got that to look forward to. We'll be talking about that. I'm not gonna, break any secrets here. The rhinos, Jerry and Brandon, both decided to vote for the Republicans, as we knew they would do, so that's no secret there. And we knew that would be like that. So, it is what it is. Okay. This is up and ready to share. So I'm going to pull this up here and let you guys hear this. Give me a second. Check. Ordinance 30-25. An ordinance for appropriation of the tax rate proposed for 6 Muncie City. Okay, can you hear this?
I have a motion to amend the budget from the council person thought a list of 3 reductions that the finance committee kind of agreed on. Those were all suggested by the department heads, and they were issues within the budget. I won't read off the line items you have it in front of you, so it's the clerk, but it's the controller for overtime, for a reduction of $48,000. It was just an error.
Okay, so you guys aren't going to be able to hear it. I'm going to have to do some boosting on that, and I apologize. This was a bad thing, and it, it's the city's fault. I'll have to boost this. I figured I probably would. I apologize, guys. So the first amendment that was made by Nora, and the first thing was there were these 3 specific issues, I guess department heads or whatever, that the administration and the department heads had asked to change this. And Nora stated the first amendment up is we want to talk about these 3 positions. And she made the statement that we were in agreement. And as soon as she said that, Rose Selvey came unglued. Rose Selvey said we were not in agreement. Who was in agreement? And she's like, we didn't agree on anything. We discussed this, but we were not in agreement. And I just really didn't understand the hostility, because even if what Nora said was wrong, maybe it was a misspeak. But, and this is, I'm all kinds of, it's weird because, I'm not defending Nora here. It's just, it is the truth. And I like Ro. I'm a friend of Ro's, but I didn't understand why Ro was so hostile. So that was very strange. Well, they voted on that. It did. It was Thad. It was very much performance theater. All evening was performance theater. So the First Amendment, it actually passed 7-2. Roe and Basham and Green voted against it. Everyone else voted for it. So Republican Basham, Republican Green voted against it. Everyone else voted in favor of it. I was kind of shocked because I thought, man, if that's the way this is going to go, maybe things are going to be different. So then the very next thing that was up was the trying to remove the funding for the communications director, Amber Green, and the deputy controller, Matt Wegley, whatever you want to call him. And they had some discussion back and forth on this, and the vote went exactly as we thought it would. The amendment was to unfund those 2 positions, and there were 4 people, the Democrats, that voted yes. there were 5 people. Well, excuse me, there were 3 people, the Republicans, that voted no, and then there were 2 rhinos that also voted no. Next was a very, very hot button issue. Hello? Next was a very, very hot button issue. And this was the, all of a sudden, out of the blue, one of the Republicans, and I think it was Green, voted to unfund he kept calling it, what was he calling it? What was he calling it? A civil rights investigator. And I think that we finally got clarification. It was a human rights investigator. It wasn't a civil rights. And I'm like, man, that's not a mistake that I would want to be making. I would not be like, hey, let's remove the civil rights investigator. I mean, whatever. It's just when it wasn't called that. It was called a human rights. Well, okay, whatever. So the big argument here was that this position has been unfilled for the last 2 years. Okay. It was just weird that they felt the need, because there has been absolutely civil rights. Yes, civil rights. Civil rights is what he kept calling it. Civil rights, which is weird. And there's been absolutely no discussion on this. There have been no discussion on this topic that I know of. Now, I don't know if there have been behind the scenes emails between these council members, because I have asked for these emails and I haven't received any. Now, I have received emails from Nora. I have received emails from Dan Gibson, and those emails concern the back and forth between Nora, Dan Gibson, Dan Reidenauer, and the deputy or the controllers. Okay. But if Jeff Green was talking to Rose Selvey or Dale Basham or Brandon Garrett or whoever else, they haven't provided those emails to me, and I've asked. So in my opinion, this is just something that they thought up or somebody told. I don't know why they were doing this. Here's my thing. The human rights executive director is retiring. I get officially tomorrow's her last day. What I would have done is I would have left this alone, because I don't know why she didn't fill this. I don't know why she didn't fill this position. They are blaming her. They're saying, well, we asked her to fill it and she didn't fill it. I will reach out to her. She has to have a reason for not filling it. I don't know what that reason is, but it's no longer her issue. It's no longer her issue. She's leaving. What I would have done is I would have left this alone, let the new hire come in, who would have been the new executive director, and then discussed with this director, do you think this is a good, because what they're doing is they're effectively changing that office without any oversight from the people who are in the office. Okay. Wayne Scaife brought up a couple of great points about this. Number one, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think they were wrong on this, because Wayne got up and said, when you guys, and I know what he meant by this, and maybe he said this wrong. Maybe he should have said, when the mayor came in, when this mayor started his term, how many deputy chief of police I keep saying that wrong. How many deputy chiefs of police, how many deputy chiefs of police did the city have? And the answer is it had one. Under under that whole shift in government, when Dan became the mayor, they then added Deegan. They added Deegan. And, like he said, he's not saying there shouldn't be. But it was just, they just decided to add it and just boom, they added it. Well, they're now cutting away this position without any real thought or any real, actual discussion of why. There was discussion tonight, and it was mostly discussion of people in the audience. It wasn't discussion from the council members. There was no oversight from the Human Rights Board or whatever else. So, that was a funky thing. And then the other aspect that he brought up, and I thought that this was fantastic, and I think that that's what he went up at the very last to ask. Last year, when the council, and with Jerry and Brandon, this time in lockstep with the Democrats, when they voted to defund the deputy mayor, Richard Ivey, to defund Amber Green, the communications director, and to unfund Matt Wegley, the deputy controller, they did that. They took that action, and the mayor instantly said, whoa. I'm not going to just leave these people out in the cold. We're going to find something for them. So he got a job for Richard in the sanitary district. And then he funded Amber and Matt through Edit. Okay. And when Wayne got up there, it was great. Wayne said, "Are you then, Mr. Mayor, going to fund this position under Edit?" Well, they didn't like that question because the deputy controller blurted out, point of order. And look, he's right. You can't ask questions of them, but this council's been so willy-nilly doing all kinds of crazy shit with the rules. They haven't operated under Robert's Rules of Order not one time since these people have had their hands on the reins. So, it was probably uncomfortable. Dan wasn't going to answer Scaife at that point. He's going to sit there smug like a bug and do his thing. But it was a great gotcha moment. And then I love it. Wayne pushed back, and Wayne's like, no. Everybody's been yelling out and just doing whatever they want. You guys let it go. And Wayne's like, I'm glad we're setting precedent. He said, because from now on, anytime they call something out and you guys are just yelling and carrying on, Wayne's going to yell point of order. I'll be right there along with him. I loved it. I absolutely loved what he did. So that was great on Wayne. I really appreciate Wayne as a human being. I have really grown to respect that man. We don't talk frequently. I mean, every now and then we might see each other passing, say hey or whatever. And I have really, really, really grown to respect that dude. I've always liked his input. Even if it's something I've disagreed with him on, he does it in a respectful way. And look, they might not like it, and they might think he's being he's not. He's always been. He might get loud or stand up there and not be talked over. I respect that. So I really like Wayne. I think he's a stand-up dude. Okay. They did vote in that issue. They voted 5-4 to unfund it. And in that position, you have 3 Republicans that voted yes. You had 4 Democrats that voted no. And then you had 2 rhinos that voted with the Republicans. Okay. And you all know, the whole Republican team, it was 5-4. Okay. Now, that takes us to unfunding that. What was the very last issue that they then voted on? I'm going to try to listen here real quick and see. Give me a second. Okay, it wasn't that. Okay, so then the last thing that they voted on was that's still on the human rights. Okay, that's that. Okay. All right, here we are. The human rights was the last. So what? Okay, so then right before that was.
How long has it been since someone has served in this job? Know how long that position.
Okay. Okay, so then what they.
Reduce that by $48,000. Item 101-184.1019. The reduction of that would be $51,100.
They're going to say what it is right here. Hold on. Can you explain what it is? Okay. So then the other thing was, okay, the fourth one. So amendment number 1 was to remove the 3 amounts of the department head of these 3 specific figures that they had talked about, and that passed 7-2. The second amendment was to unfund Amber and unfund Matt Wegley, and they voted that down. That failed, 4 in favor, 5 against. The third was Nora made the amendment that they take away the raises for a bunch of positions and all of that, and they voted that down. 4 voted for it and 5 voted against it. And then the fourth and final amendment was the human rights investigator position, and they did vote to unfund that. Okay, so then after they voted to unfund that, at some point the mayor got up and started to speak, and they asked him, they're like, no, let us get through this amendment first. And that was going to happen. And then they got to talking about that, and a citizen got up, Cameron Grubbs got up to speak, and he and Councilor Dale Basham had some back and forth. And I will put this forward for you to be able to hear this. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry you can't hear it tonight. I wish you could, but I'm going to have to boost the audio in a way that I can make it happen. So I apologize about that. But we will get it so you guys can hear it, because it is very important, and I'm just going to gloss over it. I'm so sorry. So there was back and forth between Cameron Grubbs and Councilor Basham, because Cameron had asked a question, and Basham was being the way that Basham is. Basham never answers any questions. He sits there and he's like, just sits there and looks, and he refuses to respond. And it's just always so, he's just so such schmucky kind of. It's just so weird. I just don't like it. Yes, that is right. So that was the fifth. That was the fifth and final. Because Nora said, I'm not going to do anything that I wouldn't ask of ourselves. I'm not going to ask the workers to do anything. And so Nora did take away the raises, and it passed 9-0. So that's something I thank you, Mr. Scaife. Excellent. So then when they're talking, they're getting down to like talking, and at that point where there was this like kind of back and forth between Cameron and Basham, finally they were able to get a hold of someone made mention to the council. I was trying to like notify and trying to get people. I was trying to text with Amber and trying to get the audio fixed, and I will give her credit. She was back there trying to fix it. She wasn't just sitting there, she was attempting to fix it, and it was just something that couldn't be, sometimes technology is just a bitch, and that's just the way it is. I don't know what else to say. It's a pain in the ass. But it did get brought up to the council, and I was so happy because normally they would just be like, yeah, it's good. We'll just keep going. They did take a recess. And they did. Thank you, Jackie. Yes, I completely forgot about that because it's chaotic. It was just totally chaotic. And I was worrying about our stuff. I was worrying about the show. I was trying to capture and figuring out where I could put the phone to where it would actually capture what was going on. So they decided to take a recess to try to figure out the issue. And they took a recess. That's when I text all of you guys and said, hey, they're working on it. They're going to try to work on it, whatever. And at that moment, at that time, everybody and their brother was going back to that back room trying to fix it. And Amber came out, and I heard her talking to the council president. And what Amber said was, when I'm in this room, when I am in this room, I am listening, and it's showing me that we are recording, we are live, and we are streaming. I can also hear it through the speakers like it's picking up, like the microphones are working and we have audio. And it says that we have audio. And she even sent me a thing, and it showed me, and I will verify that. So that's what's happening. She said, I can't figure out a way to fix it. We've had everybody back there. They killed the feed, and they started a couple other feeds, and the problem continued to just happen, and they were not able to. They kept shutting it off and rebooting it and doing all this, and they could not get it up. So she said, I'm going to continue recording, and the counselors asked her. They said, okay, well, you're recording, so you'll be able to upload it at some point. And she said, I hope. I cannot verify that. I hope it's going to record with audio, but I have no way of knowing. So maybe we'll get something uploaded at some point. I don't know. I don't know. I will boost my audio tonight, and I will get it up, and I will put it out because I think this is important for people to hear. I will also cut out sections for us to listen to and go over. Okay. To answer Tim's question, I don't expect Amber to do more than take selfies, but it is not her job, is it? So, yes and no. Amber is the communications director. No, I have the job description for the communications director, and nowhere in the communications does it say she is to record and live stream the meetings, because for so long we've had contractors that would do that job. We've had contractors to do that job. The contractor that we have currently had a health crisis, health emergency, and he's done. He's out. And apparently the city is ending their contract with him, not going back with it, whatever, because he's going to be out of commission. The county apparently has switched because he was the same guy that was doing the county for a while too. So from now until January, we have to be able to record the next couple months worth of meetings. And the mayor, from what I'm gathering, the mayor is just kind of like, okay, you figure it out. And I do agree that Amber should figure it out. And that is, in my opinion, while it might not be specifically mentioned in her title, in her job description, it should be under her umbrella, and she should figure it out. Now, figure it out means, tell Dan, hey, we're going to have to, get a contract together really quick and, give this guy $1,000 a month to do this. Then by God, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to figure this out. We cannot be live streaming meetings 5, 10, 15 minutes into the meeting, not getting all the information. We cannot be dropping audio. We cannot be just leaving, meetings unrecorded, unstreamed for 3-4 weeks in a row. And I'm not pointing that anger at Amber. I'm pointing it at the administration, at the city of Muncie that Amber is a part of. I'm going to tell you, I personally, the conversation that I had with Amber was this. Amber is going to have a come to Jesus meeting with Dan and say, listen, because what they keep saying is, well, if we're having technical difficulties, the law says that we're allowed to have technical difficulties. That's fine if it's like one a year. If it's like one every if it's storming really bad one day and we can't go online, that's understandable. You can't have technical difficulties every meeting, every episode, everything that goes on. Now, like Tim says, sure worked earlier today, but she doesn't seem to have to figure out 30 minutes after the meeting. Here's the thing. It did work today, but she wasn't the one that was running it. Somebody else was running it when it worked. Number one. Number two, while it worked, it didn't work as it was supposed to today because they didn't put the bar up on the screen. They didn't put the bar up on the screen telling people the date, the time, and what the meeting was. And they started the meeting 5 minutes into the meeting. So there's 5 minutes of the meeting that is just not recorded, not going to be there. And mind you, it was a very important discussion of the meeting. So that's that. Okay. I am not going to attempt to go through everything that Ridenhour said because it was just kind of a blur. It really shocked me. I'm going to, the other thing I want to tell you guys, I probably should have started with this. I probably should have started with this. So while all of this chaos is going on, I'm also dealing with the fact that not my grandparents that you guys know, not my grandma and my grandpa. If that was the case, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. But a grandfather of mine passed away today. And so I'm dealing with all of that on top of all of this. So if I'm a little discombobulated, it's because I'm dealing with a couple of different things on top of total madness at the meeting. So I'm still trying to operate while dealing with a loss and dealing with all of that. So that's what that is. So I'm not going to attempt to go through and look at the excuses I make. Like when I see, this is how the city has to do it. Like, don't tell me, oh, we can't figure out the sound. Tell me somebody's dead. You know what I mean? If you're going to make an excuse, like really go at it. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to attempt to, go through everything that Ridenhour said because I want you guys to hear it. I want you guys to listen to it, and I want to be able to talk about it as he's going through it. So I will get it cleaned up and get it out there so we can do it properly. But I will let you know that Ridenhour got up and it shocked me because he's like, he comes up and it's pure Ridenhour. Ridenhour's like, we're all on the same team here. You guys, we should be on the same team, working towards the same goal. But it seems like, there's some of you here that are more interested about going to the public with this than, getting the work done and blah, blah, blah. And then he proceeds to launch into just bashing Nora. And again, like, it's so weird because it makes me sound like I'm like, oh, I'm not. Look, when it's right, it's right. When it's wrong, it's wrong. And when I feel that Nora is being Nora, I will bash her. I'll come at her when I feel like she's pulling a Nora. But when she's right, she's right. And so Dan gets up and Dan's like, you estimate things and your estimates are wrong and you made a mistake here. And last year when you were wrong here, you came to us and you said, please make these people whole. And we didn't go out and tell the public all this. Well, first of all, no, they didn't. Nora did. Nora let people know that she screwed up. And it was an accounting error. It wasn't something that was like a lie. It wasn't something that was like told. It wasn't something that she did on purpose. It was a maths error. And so she did the right thing. She went to Ridenauer and she said, hey, I screwed up. She wasn't being deceptive. I screwed up. And then she let the public know that she screwed up. Okay? So that's that. Ridenauer blasted her for sending emails at 9:30 at night. You send me an email at 9:30 at night and I don't answer because I'm asleep, because I get up at 4:30 in the morning. Okay. So when I got up to speak, I was like, well, Ridenauer says he doesn't answer Nora's. I said, first of all, for anybody that knows Nora is a late worker. She works into late hours of the night. Okay. There are some people that require very little sleep. Okay. I'm one of those people. Nora is one of those people. Nora sends emails at what? Look, it's just Nora is known, like it's like famously known for sending emails at 1 or 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Whatever. Like, does Dan not know how emails work? I understand Jerry Dishman might have an email problem, but I'm pretty sure that Dan should understand how they work. And they work like this. You get... What are you talking about, Alva? How do you know this? How did you see that? How did you see that and how did you know that? Was somebody in there live streaming? Who was live streaming? Can I go there and see how much were they live streaming? Like, I didn't know that. I will wait and see. Apparently, the audio worked the last 3 minutes. Are we serious? Well, I will wait and see what you answer. That's crazy. Okay, anyways. 255 was live streaming by... 255 was live streaming on City page. I don't know what that means. I will go to the City page and look. Give me a second. On YouTube or Facebook? Okay, I'm looking here. Okay. I'm off screen. Just 1 second.
YouTube.
Okay.
The only way you'd be able to do this is by...
Okay. on YouTube. Interesting. That's crazy. Okay. Well, we'll see here. Give me just 1 second. So they weren't live streaming there. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, because okay, well, I won't worry about that anymore because it's total chaos still for them. So, all right, anyways. Yeah, I see it here. Weird. Okay. Well, anyways. So he gave her a hard time for asking emails in the evening. Just so he gave her a hard, totally crazy that's a thing, because why can't you answer him the next day? He said, well, you'll ask a question and then you'll go public. You'll ask a question at 9:30 and then you'll go public at 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay. She is a member of public of the council. She has an obligation to speak to the public. What I got from Dan was, we're on the same team. I offer you an opportunity to come in here and get this information quietly, because then he brought up the fact that he started these meetings. And what it is they have them like once a month, and it's him and 3 council members. So they can sit in his office or sit in the conference room or do whatever, wherever they are, and he can tell them things behind a closed door so the public doesn't know, and it doesn't have to be recorded, and it's not open door. It is what it is. And what the mention he made with this is, Nora has missed all. He said she hasn't come to any of the meetings. She said, I have come to one of them. Well, here's the thing. I got up, and to Dan's credit, shame on Nora for not attending those meetings. She should attend those meetings. Apparently, she's even asked him to change the date. So, and look, here's the thing. I'm not going to say publicly what Nora does, I guess. Everybody knows she's an occupational therapist. Okay, apparently she works at a school still. If she still does the same thing. If she does the same thing that she did when she was on the council last time, she's an occupational therapist at a school. Okay? Schools are in session from 8 to, 7:30, 8 to 2:53, 4 o'clock, somewhere around there. Maybe she doesn't have time to come to the meetings at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I think that she could probably try and schedule an appointment with the mayor when she does have time. Why if the mayor's willing to meet with 3 of them, why can't the mayor then meet with her at another time, one-on-one? That would be perfectly fine and legal. He could talk to her then. But it's almost like he expects them to come in and to get this information. He literally said, some of the questions you've asked, I've answered in these meetings, but you've not attended. Okay. Nora, shame on you for not attending those meetings. However, you know what she did? She asked those questions in an email. So why can he not then send her an easy answer? Why can't he have the meeting? Like, say this next meeting, she's supposed to be there. Say she's supposed to be there on the 27th of this month, and say she's not there. Say the other 2 council members come in. Say this meeting, it's her, Basham, and Selvey are supposed to be there. Basham and Selby are there and she's not. Why can't he send her an itemized summary of what they discussed? Is that not something he could do? You know what he could do? He could have Amber sit in the meeting and Amber could take notes. And Amber could send those to Nora. Or to Jerry Dishman if he's not there, or to Sarah Gallion, or to Dale if Dale's got something come up. We've all got something come up. Things do happen. I get it. I understand. But to then say, well, you didn't attend my public, like Kate said, behind closed doors, very Dan. So when I stood up and I questioned this, and before they voted, I said, this is very much like Dan. To want to do something under the cover of darkness. Under the cover of darkness. Okay, yeah, that's not in her job description. Yes, he has a secretary. So, he does. He has an executive assistant, but she's too good to take that. But he does have a secretary in there, and I think she can take notes, I guess. The other thing I don't understand, those girls in there, they refuse to tell people their names when you call up there to the mayor's office. They won't tell you who they are. Shireen thinks that it's like some kind of, like, everybody knows that, could you imagine calling up to the mayor's office and it going like this? Hello, this is the mayor's office. And you're like, hey, I need to say something to Dan. Dan doesn't talk to the public. Screw off. And someone's like, well, that was rude. Who are you? And she's like, I'm not going to tell you who I am. Like, all you gotta do, if you call it to City Hall and the people at City Hall don't tell you, you can probably figure out who they are. There's only 3 of them in there. If it's 3, if it's a woman, it's either going to be Amber, Stephanie, or Shireen. So, it shouldn't be hard to figure out who they are. I don't know Stephanie's voice. You should be able to figure out Amber's. And if you don't know Shireen's voice, you probably shouldn't be calling the mayor's office. All right. No, so getting on. So Nora pushed back against him a couple of times, but the other thing is, it's like he wants to stand there and give them all this information tonight. They don't. There's no way you can tell me that any of them took any real kind of, first of all, it's like, in order to be okay with it, they've got to trust him. And I could understand not trusting him. Okay. I can understand not trusting him, but they've got to trust him. And then, you've also got to be able to suck in all that quick information that he's just pop off. You know what I mean? So, ooh, that's interesting, Rachel Clark. Send me the information on that. Stumblefoot says, to be totally honest, Nora and Dan don't really have the same game plan in their heads. No, that's true. And yeah, I don't know if I necessarily like either one of their game plans. I'm not saying either one of their game plans is right or wrong. I will tell you this. The vote passed. Nora, who I thought was going to pass the budget, voted not to pass it. So the vote on 3025, which was the city council vote on the ordinance for the Muncie civil budget, went like this. Jeff Green, yes, in favor of passing it. Brandon Garrett, in favor of passing it. Jerry Dishman in favor of passing it. Dale Basham in favor of passing it. Rose Selvey in favor of passing it. And Sarah Gullion voted to pass it. And Sarah said, only because not passing it, they would lose out on some things that they absolutely needed. And so she voted. The no votes were Nora Powell, Harold Mason, and William McIntosh. So it passed 6-3. So the city will have a budget going into next year. And that's that. I am absolutely sorry that I don't have more for you. I want to be able to go through what Dan answered. I stood up and gave them some hell. Wayne Scaife gave them some hell, and rightfully so. He, I asked Brandon to give me a reason why he voted last year to unfund Amber, Matt, and the deputy mayor, and why he voted to fund them this year. And I said, it looks like it's just politics, And he said, well, have you never changed your mind? I should have said, yes, I used to think that you were a good counselor. Now I don't. I wish I would have said that. But again, I'm not operating on 100% right now. So I as soon as it was over, I was like, damn it. But he said that the reason he voted to fund Amber and Matt was because Matt comes in and talks and answers questions, and they can call him and he'll answer questions anytime. He'll answer, and he'll answer. And Amber goes out and she's all the time taking pictures, and she's at events, and she's on Facebook a lot, and he sees her on Facebook, and she's really working her heart out. And I said, okay, I'm not disagreeing with that. So did she not deserve it last year? Did they not deserve, like, what? I feel like it's just a political vote, that you voted in line with the Democrats last year and you're voting in line with the Republicans this year. And he's like, no, that's, that's like your opinion, man. And I'm like, nah, whatever, I asked them about the insurance. I asked them about the insurance, and I asked them if they got what they felt. I asked Ro if she felt like she got what she needed, and Ro told me yes, that she got the little graph, and she felt like it was enough. Kissick says, it's sad that city politics have gotten to the point that only 24% of voters show up to elect a mayor, yet his party still has to get elected councilors to switch parties to ensure the budget passes. Yeah. Yes. That is sad. It is. Tonight's meeting was wild. It was just another continuation of the 6th, just total wildness. I didn't get to get answers to a lot of the questions that I still have, which we will carry over until November. A lot of it is about Resolution 1725 and all of that. And as Kate said, and as a throwback to the golden olden days, perception is reality, bitch. And that's absolutely true. I do want to say again, we're getting ready to end it here, and we're going to end a little short because I want to be able to talk to my stepdad and whatnot before they turn in for the night, because, like, again, his father passed away today, a man that's been in my life for all of my life, basically. Another grandfather, we'd go up and fish with him and whatnot. And this is my stepfather's mother passed away 2 years ago. I tell you, you remember when we did the show, Kate, when we had when I was driving going up north to the funeral, and we had Ryan Webb on, and I kept cutting in and out. Remember that? That's when we were driving up to the funeral that night, and the funeral was the next day. So this was probably going to be a hard one for my stepdad because it's his second parent, and now they're both gone. So it's kind of a thing, and that's kind of, I've been discombobulated with all that and everything. So we're getting ready to call it a night, and just because I feel so flustered, I screwed up where we are, and I got to fix all of that. And I was so pissed about how the meeting went, all that stuff, and how the meeting wasn't recorded. So I'm going to do my very level best to get it all to where you guys can hear it. And I have a lot more to say about this meeting. I've got a lot more to say about this meeting. A lot more. And we will have more commentary about this. But I do want to offer you one thing on Resolution 17, and I don't want it to wait. Okay. This is very important. So, first of all, tonight's Thursday, and that means we are normally off on Friday and Saturday. And so, like, I would figure, like, had the death in the family not happened, what I would probably do is I would probably, like, work real hard tomorrow and try to get it ready to do a show tomorrow or Saturday. But because of the death in the family, I'm going to go ahead and take tomorrow and Saturday off. I will work on getting the audio good, and when we come back on Sunday, I will have a better show for you all, and we can just scrap this one, basically. Okay, it'll be what it'll be. So that'll be that. I do want to say I don't want to wait until Sunday to let you know this. So if you guys remember, yesterday I told you that I sent a series of emails out, and the emails, one was to Dale Basham, and one was to Belinda Munson and her, I think, her chief deputy, Lacey Jones. And the email that I sent Lacey and Belinda said this: City Clerk Belinda Munson, Deputy Clerk Lacey Jones, I have a question about Resolution 17-25. During the Muncie City Council meeting on Monday, October 6, 2025, Clerk Munson stated that the official paperwork that was in her file on Resolution 1725 was blank, meaning no signatures from Councilor Basham, in my belief, or any other councilor, or no signatures from Aubrey or Craig Wright. However, the council packets are all contained copies of Resolution 17-25, which had all three signatures. Additionally, if you visit the city's website, you can view all three signatures. My questions are: first, who created the council packets, and where did that person obtain the signature page to assemble the 9 councilors' packets, and the one on the website? And then what did that person do with it at that point? Also, could you please verify when Shireen sent her email and attached the resolution that she wanted added to the October agenda? Did it contain the signature page with all three signatures? Lastly, to ensure that we are all clear, when you review the official documentation of Resolution 1725, can you confirm that the back signature page is blank and correct? Okay. This is what Lacey answered, and I'm so thankful for Lacey. And I want to say something. Belinda Munson did something tonight, that kind of came off as friendly. She looked at me during all the chaos and she said, "Are you recording?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "Okay, like, good." And I really appreciate that. Like, I got to say something. With all the chaos going on and everything, there's been some people that have come out and really came across different. So I want to thank Belinda Munson. And I mean that. I'm going to give her, I'm going to be a little nicer to her and see kind of where things go. I appreciate how she was tonight. Maybe I'm in my emotions, but that is what it is. So I'm going to leave it there. But I want to read you what Lacey put. And Lacey's email, this email makes it worse, in my opinion. And when I asked the council, and I printed off these things that give the information about Section 3208. I printed them off for all of the council members, and I'm going to give it to them when I reach it. And I'm going to ask them, because I think that they have to investigate this situation. Even though it's going to be November, it's going to be like a whole month since it happened. Nothing's happened, and I think they have to get to the bottom of it. So this is what Lacey said in reference to my question. She said, Kristopher, the signatures that Clerk Munson was referring to during the meeting were not the signatures on the resolution page. They were the signatures on the petition and the notary page, pages B3 to B6. She was not referring to the council or attorney signatures. You can actually hear her say that it was on the petition on the video. Okay, my bad. I made a mistake on that, and I did go back and I listened to that, and she is correct. So she did not mention that the signature pages were blank. They are not. Okay, so that can be put to rest. She says, she goes on, as you are aware, I am the person that prepares the city council packets. And she's correct. I was aware of that. I thought that. But you know how it is. Sometimes people get busy and somebody else does it. So I just needed to verify. But she's letting me know that she did put these packets together. She said they are uploaded online in the exact same format as they are put into the packets, and that they are held in our official file. Okay. So everything is the same. She goes on and says, the filing that you are referring to was submitted by the mayor's executive secretary, Shireen Wagley, on September 22nd, which was the October filing deadline, just after business hours. We are allowed to accept emails for filing up until midnight, and that is true. When I came into the office on Tuesday and was checking my emails, I reached out to Dan Gibson for his advice because, as you know, it was the same copy of Resolution 1625. In the past, we have always operated under the assumption that when an ordinance or resolution was submitted by the administration, that it was submitted with the knowledge and the authority of the council member whose signature appeared on the documents. That is an assumption that we can no longer make. Moving forward, we plan to enforce protocols to ensure any ordinance or resolution not filed directly by a council person has been confirmed and submitted with the knowledge and the authority of that said council person. I hope this clears up your answers and answers your question and clears up any confusion on the clerk's office end. And it does. It does. It absolutely does. This, in my opinion, makes a problem even bigger for I don't give a shit Wagley. She did not attach the signature page, but my record request that I should be able to pick up tomorrow from Amber should include that, because I did request that in my official. I didn't ask the clerk's office for it, but I did ask it from Amber, which is a whole nother thing we'll talk about one of these days. But I should be able to get that. Hopefully that's there tomorrow, but I know I have some records to pick up tomorrow. But whenever they give me my records for this event, it should include that. So I will have that. How did the signature page end up in the packet? So the signature page ended up in the packet because, so understand what I'm saying. So the signature page was sent by Shireen in Resolution 1625 with Dale's signature and the other two.
That's what I meant was,
Yeah.
the attachment that Shireen included to the clerk
Yeah.
with the resolution. That
Uh-huh.
signature page was included in that resolution.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So it's definitely, because I got scared. I'll be honest. I'm not scared. I was just following where it's going.
No,
I
I'm
got
just
to
really
thinking
glad to hear that
it wasn't
some
the
of the things
clerks.
I was worried about,
Yeah.
that the clerk was somehow involved.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I was worried about that, and this really clears that up.
It
So
does, yeah.
This
Yeah, that
email is
email.
priceless,
Yeah.
and she was very concise in answering the questions.
Mhm.
So I really appreciate Lacey. I mean, I always
Yeah.
have. She's really good at what she does.
Yeah, she's very good. She's
But
very good.
This email was, whoo.
Well, and I kind of think
I'm
that
interested
maybe.
to see what their new protocols are going to be.
Oh yeah. Well, I kind of think maybe that's why. Munson was maybe a little bit more not, because like I wasn't going after them. Like I really hated it because I like Lacey. Lacey's always been cool with me and has been really professional or whatnot and done her job and done a damn good job. And she does good work for Belinda. And listen, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Belinda's office under Belinda, they have been doing a good job. They do a good job. That's just the truth. I had a lot of issues with Belinda for a lot of reasons. And there's those, like, look, it's not like she leaned over and was nice to me and like, all's forgiven. There's still issues. And I'm sure she doesn't like me. And I'm sure, like, we're not friends. We're not going to tea anytime soon. But I again will give her credit where credit is due. They've done a good job in her office. And so I was like really shocked. I was like thinking, man, there's no way this was a screw up on them. There's no way. And I didn't want it to be. I didn't want it to be. I don't want Shireen to screw up. I want them to do the right thing. But I'm glad to hear that this screw up is solely. I've seen everybody's information now. The only people that aren't giving information is the administration, and they've got the most to hide. And I feel like they think that there's the least to worry about, but it is what it is. So, yeah. Rachel says you never hear anything bad about their office. Just don't cross her because she's not afraid to beat your ass. That's very true. Listen, I'm telling you, man. Literally, and it's fun. Like I can kind of laugh about it now, and I do laugh about it when I talk about it. But I'm telling you, like that first council meeting, very first council meeting when she was first put in as clerk, and it was under the Ridenhour mayor administration, and Jeff Robinson and Troy Ingram and all those people, Ray Dudley and Ralph Jigger Smith and all those people. And we were in the back of the council area back there. When you see it on the videos, there's the back seats. And between the doors and between the last seat, you could put me and another person walking side by side easily, and we wouldn't touch. You could put probably 3 small people in there. I mean, there's enough room. So 2 people can pass each other without touching. And I know I've told this 100 times, but I used to tell it with like meanness, but now I kind of tell it like laughing about it. But we were going, she was passing me, I was passing her, and I saw her, and I specifically like bent over specifically more to get out of her way to give her plenty of passage room without any issue. And man, she stuck me like a senior walking down a hallway and I was a freshman. She stuck me like right in the ribs with her elbow. Amazing. And I'm like, dude, what did that literally really just happen? What in the hell is going on here? I like look back at her, I'm thinking, and she just kept walking. She's like, bitch, this is my hallway to lunch. And I'm like, no, what in the hell? I got woke up at 4:30 this morning by cops pulling guns on people that were pointing lasers at them. I bet Dan doesn't wake up to that crazy shit at 4:30 in the morning. No, I bet he probably doesn't. Wait a minute. They were pointing guns at you, or they were pointing guns at people out in the roadway? That's a little bit different story. That's crazy shit. Your neighbor. Yeah, that is definitely a crazy story. I hate to hear that. I hope everything is that's crazy. Oh, hey, I see that you text me, Tim. Thank you for texting me. I just now saw that. Sorry. Oh, I get it. See that my whole switch up screwed my grandparents up. My grandparents are like, "Are you on? We can't hear. We don't know what's going on. Can't get you on TV. We're going to bed." So my grandparents just were like, "Screw it. We don't want to talk to you. We're not," all because of this screw up. I've still got to fix this when I get off out of here. Anyways, before we go, we're leaving now, but I want to put this up here real quick. Give me a second. Oh man. Hold on. Hell, there's no way I can. Let me see, where did that go? Who? Okay, we're close to it. Yeah, right here. Here. Here we go. I'll put this up here. Oops. Don't want to cut Jesus' head off. About cut Jesus' head off. That would have been good. That would have got me. Okay, here we go. Just lastly, as we're leaving out, I will say, if you could, where is this? Give, here we go. Your thoughts, prayers, and good vibes to my stepdad's family. My brother, it's his bio grandparents. So this is the man right here. This is my mom and stepdad when they got married, and this is my stepdad, my step grandmother. She passed away 2 years ago. Her name was Anita. This is my stepdad Phil, my mother Rhonda, and here's Harvey. And dude kind of lived a crazy badass life. He served in the chair force, and then went to Purdue and was an engineer from Purdue, of course. It's like you're either going to be an engineer, a pharmacist, or a farmer or vet. He decided to go into engineering, and he worked for Boeing, a little company y'all probably don't know of. And this is back before like their shit was falling apart. He worked for Boeing, and then he retired from Boeing, and then he worked and he did some contract work with the government, and then retired from that. And then he got doing this other job, kind of went back to Boeing, working And I always thought it was a really weird job. I always thought it'd be really spooky. When Boeing had an airplane that would crash like the old-fashioned ways, like not when, shit would fall off of them because they were poorly designed, but when like they would just have some kind of crazy-ass airplane crash, he was one of the guys that they would then call, and he would get on an airplane that hopefully worked and fly to the crash scene and help collect all the parts and then bring the parts back to a hangar, a little area, and put the plane back together and try to figure out like what happened. And so that's always like a really crazy ass job. I always thought like that's wild. Like I'm like asleep and they're like, "Hey sir, a plane just crashed. Get your go bag and get on an airplane." I'm like, "I think I'll take a train to that. Thank you." But he was really cool. They lived down in Cincinnati for a long time, and we would always go down there and stay in the summer and go to Cincinnati, go to Kings Island a lot. My stepdad worked at Kings Island when he was in high school. And like if you worked there for so long and you left in good standing, they would give you like lifetime season passes. And like so we went to Kings Island so much as a kid, like we were like, okay, we don't like Kings Island anymore. I mean, it was great, but it was fun. Then they moved from Cincinnati up to Dewart Lake, and they had a house on Dewart Lake, and they've lived up from in that area forever. And so that's where he was from, like at. But Harvey DeFries, he was 93 or 94 today, took his last breath. And so fortunately, my stepdad and my mom were able to be there with him and all that. Think my brother's going to be able to get to come back from Sicily for the funeral. So that's kind of cool. We'll be able to do that. So thoughts and prayers for the family and for all of us that will be going through this over the next couple days and weeks. So if you would do that, we would greatly appreciate it. We will be gone tomorrow, and we will be gone Saturday as normally our plan. We will be back on Sunday, and we will be more at ourselves. We'll be ready to rock and roll and present to you guys more better information, so it's not so chaotic. I apologize for the craziness tonight. Thank you all for everything, and we will go from there. You guys take care. God bless. Have a good evening, and have a great weekend. Goodbye.